welcome to our spoiler review of The Magisterium, The Iron Trials, written by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. And if you are as excited about this author mashup as we are, I bet you can't wait to get your hands on this book. Oh my gosh. Just... if you were, looking for your childhood, it is that book, okay? It is Harry Potter. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings. It's just everything that you remember about being a kid kind of packed into one new story.
I was sitting there reading this book, and it was like I was reading a Harry Potter book for the first time again.
Yes.
And I was just so excited and happy and just this is the best day of my life. This is a feeling that I thought I would never have again.
I know. You're just like...
Okay, so...
Okay.
What happens, Chelsey?
Okay, this has been a while. So, our good friend Call has basically lived his whole life thinking that magic is the devil. Magic is awful. The people who do magic are just horrible, horrible people who will torture you and kill kittens and blah, 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 blah. He's been told this by his father, who is actually a magician, but I'm not sure Call is really too up on anything about the magical world other than it will probably kill him. He has been spending his whole life doing anything he can to psych himself up for failing this test, which will get him into the Magisterium, because wizards are bad and he can't have anything to do with magic and blah, 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 blah.
And if he goes to the Magisterium, they'll kill him.
He will die. Call doesn't have a lot of friends. He was in an accident as a kid, as a baby, where his leg got kind of twisted and broken and it never healed correctly. So he kind of always has a limp and he's always been less physically able than the rest of the kids. But what happened in this incident when he twisted his leg was there was a war on between a chaos mage, his chaos creations, and then the other mages. And all the women and children were kind of in one spot to kind of keep them out of the war, but the
Enemy of Death is what he's called,
yeah.
goes and he massacres them. And Cal and his mother are there, and are we just gonna spoil it right off the bat? Because
this is the spoiler.
This is the spoiler. Okay, so the Enemy of Death doesn't want to die, so he ends up pushing his soul into baby infant Cal, and the mother realizes that it's not her kid anymore and drops him on the ice, tries to kill him, dies before, and then when Cal's father shows up,
realizes what's happened and has kind of spent his time raising this kid who's possibly going to turn into the most evil person in the history of this magical community.
And so the reason that he doesn't want him to go to magic school, other than the fact that he blames basically magic for ruining his entire life, is he doesn't want Cal exposed to this, because Cal has is possible that he's going to become this evil, horrible person. And so he's saying, bind this child's magic, don't let this happen.
Keep him innocent. But the interesting thing is his father doesn't hate him and think he's the most evil person in the world and is purposely mean to him or anything like that. His father is very much just he's kind of raised the kid and he's come to at least love him, right? And he thinks of Call as his son, even though he's possibly the enemy of death. You don't kind of realize any of this until the end of the book, obviously, but for continuity's sake, off we go. So Call magically, impossibly, actually passes his test.
Gets dragged to the school in a rather heartbreaking scene where the father,
is no, don't take him. Please don't take my son. Just...
Mm-hmm. Goes to school, and then, any kind of, oh, this is totally Harry Potter just goes flying out the window, because it's not a castle. It's a series of caves. And the one thing that I could not get over through this entire book is they eat mushrooms and moss. Like, that is what they eat. And it tastes like real food.
Like, it tastes like chicken soup or pizza or whatever you got. But that's what they eat. It's moss for dinner, breakfast, lunch, snack time. Moss.
It's just like, what am I reading? And I had recently read the book Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, and that's like one of the things. It's like creepy alien life form moss stuff.
Okay.
And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, don't touch the moss, guys. The moss is gonna like kill you.
The moss is fine.
The moss is fine.
She's just being dramatic.
But the entire time I was reading this book, I'm like, I want Cal's dad to be right. I want them to do this because this entire generation, me included, has grown up being like, where the hell's my letter to Hogwarts? Like, where is it? And so you have this character who doesn't want to go to magic school. And you're just like, are you crazy? Magic school.
I will kill for this chance.
I want this. Like, why, like, you're just like, no, Cal, you gotta go because, dreams and magic.
Anyways.
But I wanted the dad to be right because just think of the backlash to that.
Oh, God.
Like, magic school being evil. Like, you would just be like, that would be like breaking your brain.
Oh, God. Yeah. Be like, Professor Dumbledore was actually a demon.
Woo!
Eating children in his cave. Like, oh. No.
So the organization is different. Masters take on, like, students. And
you kind of work in your little group.
Mm-hmm.
So Cal gets Aaron and Tamara.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of doesn't try to become their friends, but just like Ron and Harry and Hermione.
When you experience certain things with people, you're kind of...
You can't help but become friends,
yeah.
kind of thing. Their Master Rufus, he's a pretty good guy. He also trained their father. And he's teaching them how to use the 4 elements. The 5th element is chaos. Nobody can use chaos magic.
Only really specific chaos mages, and there hasn't been one in a very long time.
But anyway, so the story moves on. Stuff happens. Cal learns how to use magic. Until eventually circumstances force them outside, and they're trying to save their friend. And they're about to be attacked by chaos-imbued wolves. And all of a sudden, his friend Aaron is like, oh my god, I think I've got this, and manages to control the chaos wolves.
Use chaos magic and all this crazy stuff.
And so he is now the chosen one. Surprise! You thought it was going to be Cal.
See, going into this, there was one thing that kind of hinted at it, and that was the front cover, because if you look at the front cover, Aaron's in the middle. And I was just like, but our protagonist has black hair. What the...
No.
Who's this Aaron guy?
Of course, you didn't realize this till after the spoilers were revealed.
This is what happened to me. One of the problems reading this book for me was, like, we went to the panel at BookCon,
yeah.
and they're just like, there's a big twist, and so I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna find out what this twist is before the twist happens. I'm gonna do it.
And then
What's
the twist happens.
And so, one of the big marketing things is, it's, the fantasy story that you know, but it's not. And they definitely touch on a lot of the big things, like the whole learning magic isn't exactly fun. The training, like the whole, in this book, they have to move, like, sand, grain by grain, like, the whole learning the basics, and once you grasp the basics, then you'll be able to do big magical things, while everybody else is learning how to do fun stuff. They're stuck doing the boring stuff. What are some other, like, tropes that they like?
The chosen one. Like, what it's like to be the chosen one. Aaron doesn't specifically want to be the chosen one, but in the end, he's kind of like that person who wants to do good, and if he has the power to help people, that's what he wants to do with his life.
Cal describes him as Captain America.
That's pretty accurate.
And it's pretty accurate.
Cal is somebody who, he doesn't want to be the chosen one either, but he doesn't also want to be the evil enemy of death. He's not that person. When his soul transferred into this new body, all his memories got wiped, so he's grown up as Cal. He's not the enemy of death.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so what does it mean to be the evil person? Why did the enemy of death actually do what he did and become all evil and blah, right? It's something they kind of tell you, but you get the feeling that there's more to the story going on.
As Cal gets older, I expect that'll be something that will be expanded on. One of the things, though, with me was I wasn't as shocked when I read the book as you were.
I wasn't shocked. I knew what was going to happen. It was just like the second they announced that Aaron was like the chosen one, I was like, it should be Cole. But like it's just like what it was supposed to be was grating on me as much as I loved it. I was like, but I felt like itchy or like something was wrong with the universe. But I was like, this is good. This is what I want. This is change. But he's supposed to be the chosen one. And it just, I had a lot. It took me a lot for me to be like, okay, it's okay. It'll be fine. The world is not collapsing as we know it.